Okay, so Nat talks about it. So Nat talks about it has gotten a lot of feedback, a lot of constructive feedback, but mostly there's been a lot of feedback about wanting to have one, more of a conversation with the topics, and two, there's definitely an interest in mini episodes, I guess, or like mini talks. And I'm so grateful for all the feedback. I welcome it all. Keep it coming. Um, the issue with the mini episodes, which is what I'm going to try to do right now, is that I tend to I have a lot to say about a lot of things. So it's very difficult. It's very easy for me to expand. So it's very difficult for me to make a topic, especially these early ones that I'm very passionate about. A lot of the topics, it's been 3 episodes so far, and all 3 episodes were topics that I've talked about so much with so many different people. So it's topics that I feel very close to. So when it's a topic like that, it's very difficult for me to make it brief and short and concise. But I'm gonna try with a topic that lends itself to be a lot briefer, right? So this is gonna be a mini, I guess, a mini discussion, a mini episode. I'm gonna put it up on Instagram at Nat underscore talks about it. I'm gonna put it on my YouTube channel, underscore talks about it, and I'm gonna put it on TikTok. So make comments, DM me, let me know if you want to see the topic in a more in-depth discussion. As you guys know, next week I did say, so the next episode of Nat Talks About It uploads on May 4th, on Sunday, May 4th. And I'm going to have a very good friend of mine on that. And we are going into the topic of why women feel or think that they can't go after it, right? Whatever that it is. So for this mini episode, I'd like to talk about flirting. Flirting. Is it friendly or is it being friendly? Is it flirting or is it being friendly? So what's interesting is that, you know, I identify as a heterosexual woman, and I make very good friends with men, right? Ever since I was a very young girl, I have been able to navigate friendships with the opposite gender. And it's never really presented to be a problem for me. I've never, because of my friendship with men, I've never been caught in anything that I didn't desire or anything like that. But what I have noticed in sprinkles throughout my life is that there's been exchanges between me and friends or acquaintances of the opposite gender, where people have labeled it as flirting. And I'm very, so to be clear, people that know me have never said, "Oh, you were flirting," but there's been comments that I don't really know when someone is flirting with me. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not really sure if that's true or not, because I think that the definition of flirting relies on the person that's being flirted with, right? So, for example, if me and Timmy are having an exchange and Timmy believes that I was flirting, then I was flirting, right? Even if it wasn't my intention, and even if I didn't see it as that, if he thinks that I was flirting, then I was flirting. So I think that's why the definition of flirting is difficult. I think flirting means different things to different people. So it's something that I've thought about for many, many years, because I often don't agree with the things that people say about flirting. And most recently, someone that I'm very close to has brought a past behavior to my attention. And I don't see it the same way as he does, which is okay. I'm fine with it. I'm not really pressed with it, because this is what I will tell you. luckily for me, I've never been in a exchange with someone of the opposite gender where there was a question about flirting and either it was, not welcome, or it was, kind of, there was resistance towards it. I've never been in an uncomfortable, difficult situation because of flirting. So for me, it doesn't really bother me. If you think I was flirting, then I was flirting, right? Um, but I think that when it comes to me, I noticed, like I can tell you, it's been years since a man was flirting with me. I don't identify those behaviors. I'm more prone to think that someone is being polite, friendly, or paying me a compliment, spreading positivity, right? Because a lot of what I hear are compliments. They're things about my appearance or things about how I behave. I don't necessarily think that every time a man says something like that, that it's flirting. So for me, right, flirting is the behavior that you have, the playful behavior that you have towards someone that you have a romantic or sexual interest. And that's why I think for me it's very difficult to define it when other people are flirting with me. I think that once I know that a man is interested in me romantically, right, and something more than a friendship, something more than an acquaintance, then I think my sensors go up a little bit and I'm like, okay, that's definitely flirting, right? He's shooting his shot, like we say, and things like that. But unless I know that, or unless I think that, I'm not gonna label something as flirting. So because a man tells me, "Oh, you have such a nice smile," or "I like the way you communicate," or "Wow, you have really nice hair. I like your outfit," or smiles at me or maintains eye contact, I don't necessarily think that's flirting. That's just me, right? And let's talk about the let's talk about the old faithful "Good morning, beautiful." Is that flirting? Right? Because if we went by that, and I'm talking now to my young men, my dudes, if we went by that, how many people do you as men say that to, either in person, via text message, on social media? If every time you said "Good morning, beautiful," you were flirting, oof, that's deep, right? So I think that flirting is definitely about an interest. I don't necessarily think that I would flirt with someone that I was not romantically interested or sexually interested to. There has to be some type of attraction, even if it's superficial, even if I don't know anything about you and I just like the way you look, that qualifies as an attraction. So my playful behavior towards you might be flirting because I find you attractive. So that's why it's difficult for me. I don't often know when men feel this way, when men have felt this way about me. So I wouldn't say, "Oh, he's definitely flirting with me." But I've noticed that when my friends have seen this and have pointed it out to me, I struggle. I'm like, no, I don't think he was flirting. I think he was just being nice. So some of the things that I think would qualify flirting as flirting, right, and not being friendly. I think the difference between flirting and being friendly is, flirting is fun, right? It's usually very brief. It's not intense. It's playful. I also think flirting is not direct, right? Kids now are saying, "Oh, shoot your shot," right? It's not so much shooting your shot. I think shooting your shot is a little more direct, right? It's when you're making sure that someone knows your intent with getting to know each other, going out on a date, or whatever level of intimacy you want to initiate. I think shooting your shot is definitely direct. Flirting isn't as direct, right? I also think that flirting can come with nonverbal, right? It can be body language. It can be verbal with compliments. Whereas I think that it's being friendly has more behaviors that have to be, like if we're friends and I'm just being friendly with you, I'm being polite, I'm being well mannered, I'm doing these things. That's not every time that I'm friendly am I being flirty. But in the conversations that I've had with a lot of my friends, right, where we have a difference of opinion if someone has been flirting, I always go back to the intent, right? Does flirting have to be intentional? Or can someone be flirting without knowing that they're flirting? And I think that they can. I think that they can, because clearly there's things that I have done or things that other people have done that are perceived as flirting, and I don't agree. I don't think that every time a man says "good morning, beautiful," he's flirting with me. I don't think that every time a man pays me a compliment, he's flirting with me. I can pay the same I'm a heterosexual woman, and I can pay the same compliment to a woman as I would a man. Does that mean that I'm flirting with a woman? So anyone who knows me knows, some of my friends, when we go to bars, when we go to restaurants, brunch and things, we will say, wow, she's pretty, right? I've seen women and been like, girl, you are working that dress, or things like that. I've complimented women's bodies. I've complimented women's faces, women's attire. I've done all of this. How is that different than telling a man you have nice eyes, or nice outfit, or you look nice in your haircut, got a haircut, nice? How is that different, right? But because I'm a heterosexual woman, when I do it with a man, it's flirting. I don't agree. I don't think so. I think that, for me, again, to each their own. I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm not saying that you guys are right or wrong. I think it's good for discussion. But for me, the big piece of flirting is, what is the intent with it? If the intent of the behavior is to let the other person know that there's a romantic or sexual attraction or interest, then yes, that would be flirting. So that's it. That's my attempt at a mini episode for Nat Talks About It. Please, please, please let me know what you think. Give me a comment, give me a like, DM me if you have other things to contribute. Listen, I can come back in another video and talk about feedback. That's fine too. I think this was a fun topic. I'm interested in this topic. If you haven't yet gone to Nat Talks About It on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, click on the bell so that you get notified for new episodes. And episode 4 will upload on Sunday, May 4th. I'm definitely looking forward to see what you guys have to say about it. Because if you're up to it, let's talk about it.